Sure. Okay.
We good?
We're good. Yes. So, hi.
Hello. Okay, so today's question we are looking at is one that we get asked quite often. Is it okay to use my Gmail/Hotmail for business? So could I have mybusiness@hotmail.com as my email? What do you think?
Well, you can. However, is it the best for your business is really the question. Yeah. And I think that I'm going to say that there are three main reasons and a couple other reasons why I don't think it's a great idea. I think the first reason really is around credibility of you and your business. So studies have shown that about 70% of adults in the US primarily communicate with companies through email over anything else. So when you get an email, recipients are judging you based on your content, but also on your address. So they're going to take you a little bit more seriously if your branding, if your business name is in the email. As a customer, I'm going to feel like you know what you're talking about if you've got your business name in your email address as a domain name rather than at the beginning as in your business name at Gmail, sort of thing like that. And I think that's really true, especially about product-based businesses. You know, when you're selling products and you want to have the air of somebody who is not just doing it out your garage or something like that. You know what you're doing. You've got a shop, and you know you're professional, which, funnily enough, takes me into the next bit, which is professionalism.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a branded email address just makes you seem more professional. It just does. You know, you're instantly going to set yourself apart as more professional than the people who are just using Gmail addresses. It's going to give you a certain air and link back to that credibility. And you particularly want to be seen as professional if you've got a service-based business as well. You know, products obviously, but service businesses is really important because you know, sometimes the business is just you yourself, and I think you want to present yourself as somebody who is taking yourself seriously, taking your business seriously, and so it gives that professionalism to do that. The last big thing I would say around that is around commitment. So a branded email address just shows that wee extra level of commitment. It shows that you plan to be around for the long haul, that you're a business owner who is investing in their business and in the tools of their trade. And that gives people more confidence that you're not going to be gone in 10 minutes, you know, when they want to return their product or they want to follow up on the services that you've provided. So I think that these things are very important. I think, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's very true. And I think at the moment, especially over the past few years, there's been a lot more businesses coming up and a lot more solopreneurs out there. So the competition is bigger, right? So you want to set yourself apart. So as being professional and know what you're doing. And when you talk about people using email, I think there's something a little bit generational about that as well, isn't there? That especially I would rather email anybody than pick up the phone. Like talking on the phone just doesn't appeal to me. But I know that the older generations do quite often prefer the phone. But I think that's becoming less and less so as time goes on.
Yeah, I think there's probably something in that. I think that's right. I think that definitely there, you know, it's the younger generation don't even know that although it's called a phone, that you can actually put it to your ear and speak into it. That's quite true. So there's also a couple of little sort of minor things that I think are important about having your own domain name for your email. And one thing is about having control over your emails. So if you have all your emails in Gmail or Hotmail or stuff like that, and they decide to stop their free service at any point, well, that's you. You've lost it. It's gone. You know, if you have your domain name and you have all your emails, you know, somewhere safe, then you have control. You might not choose to keep them all, but you have that choice. It's you retain control, and I think that's, you know, quite important these days, to have that choice. And that's definitely one of our core values, is allowing people to retain control over their web products and things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I think, but then, so then my question is, a lot of businesses, when you go into the office, they have it may be an email that, like for us, it's Isla@buttertoast.com, but then they use that through their Gmail or their Outlook.
Yeah, so that's a paid for service that for example, Gmail have, they call it is it Workspace, G Workspace, or just Workspace? I don't know, Google Workspace anyway. And that means that's a paid for option, and you have a little bit more say at that point, because you choose whether to use their paid for option or whether to leave it. They don't dictate to you when you leave it or when you join. So although you can still use the same service. Now that's not an expensive service when you're starting out, and if you're a small company, it's only about it's under £5 a user really per month. So, you know, just for that, and you get sort of additional server space as well. You get a lot of extras with that as well. But again, it's your data, it's your control, and you can take it away from them at any point. So yeah,
I think that's really useful, isn't it? Because if you're used to, especially if you're starting out, you don't want too many new things. So if you're used to using Gmail for your personal emails, to have your work ones in a space that you recognise is quite
yeah, it's great. And to be honest, you know, I understand what it's like when you're starting out, and everybody wants, you know, a little bit of your money, and you've got not very much when you're starting out. And so to you know, choose to you know, make savings in these areas, I can understand why you would do that. I really just think it's essential for starting out. You want to start out on the right foot, and you want to be taken seriously. I think the more seriously you're taken, and the more seriously you take yourself in the early stages of business, then the faster your growth will be. So I think it's worth doing that.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I just wanted to say about it was just around branding. And branding, sometimes we think of branding as just being your logo, but there's more to branding than your logo. It's the overall message that your company is sending out, or you representing your company is sending out to the world. And you know, that's whether you're wearing branded clothes, or whether you've got a branded mug. Mine's just out of reach, otherwise I'd show you. Or, you know, whatever it is. Oh, I tell you what I do have. I don't know if this will show up, but
you have to lift it higher. There we go. Yeah.
There we go. My mug of tea was just sitting on our coasters there. So yeah, so your domain name email is part of that whole branding thing, and I think that's really important, and it's part of how you present yourself in particularly to companies and customers who you're going to be hopefully doing business with, and they will definitely look at you in a new light if you get a branded domain name. So
perfect. Well, thank you very much. Good answers there.
You're very welcome. See you again
next time.
Okay then. Cheery, bye.
Bye.